we should celebrate the NYPD. We've got to celebrate this guy, Ryan Nash. He was a uniformed police officer. This was like out of Blue Bloods, you know? It's like this guy is a uniformed police officer. He's out looking for what they call an EDP, an emotionally disturbed person. Probably somebody wandered off. And he sees this guy with his two weapons running away, and he shot him. Now, you think like, okay, well, that's what he's supposed to do, but you got to think about it. Put your imagination in there for a minute. This guy doesn't know, is he a drunk driver? He doesn't know if he's like, you know, what he is, and he has to make that call. And as we know, if he makes the wrong call, and he's a white guy, for instance, and he shoots a brown guy, you know, I mean, the guy can be crucified. So he really has to make the call, and he did, and he, you know, kept this guy from getting away. He kept him from hurting other people. It really, so that's Ryan Nash. And the Wall Street Journal had a point when they said, you know, when they said most New Yorkers regard it as a small miracle that terrorism's success in the city has been minimal, but it's not a miracle. Protecting the city's sprawling tableau falls to the New York City Police Department, and it must be noted that its record in the years following 9/11 has been stellar. The NYPD's anti-terrorism unit is a model of relentless vigilance and cooperation with security agencies in the U.S. and in Europe. Vigilance and cooperation are the two indispensable tools in ensuring that the terrorist world remains abnormal. And, you know, I just want to add to that they have done this with the New York Times and other liberals, dragging them down for everything. They exposed the fact that they were surveilling mosques and working to get informants in mosques, and they went after them for this, and they stopped, you know, they've got the lawyers after, just like they did with Stop and Frisk, this very successful program that was taking guns off the street. And we know that the New York Times hates guns, but it's not, but it's okay if the guns are in the hands of criminals, if the criminals are in some kind of identity that they approve of. They had this excellent thing where they would, you know, listen, a cop, I've known a lot of cops. I've talked to a lot of cops. A cop can tell if you are holding a gun. He can tell it from a mile away. You stand with a cop and he will say, yeah, strapped, strapped, strapped. He knows when the guys have guns. They just do. You know, they can see the weight. They can see the way the pants are. And so they were letting people, you know, if the guy was acting suspiciously, they could go up and question him, and then they could search him. And they deemed this stop and frisk, and they hammered them and went after this. And eventually, the NYPD has compensated for it, and they've kept it from raising the murder rate. But it could have raised the murder rate, and it may yet. And I think they've also done everything they can to hamper the surveillance of mosques and Muslims and getting informants in the Muslim world. And I think all of that stuff, everything the NYPD is all the more miraculous because of the relentless attacks by the Times and other leftists in New York.